Muy buenos a todos chicos, soy Rey del Reina, bienvenidos al canal. Hoy continuamos con la misión legendaria de Xilonen. En el episodio anterior pues descubrimos que la madre de la niña, la niña que está enferma y no recuerda bien a su madre ni recuerda nada de lo que pasó porque le atacó el abismo. ¿Qué pasa? Que la madre ha estado construyendo como unas cosas que le ha estado dando a la gente y que le quita los recuerdos, por así decirlo, para extraer esos recuerdos y dárselos a Netza, que es su hija que ha perdido la memoria. De esa manera pues podrá recordar quién es su madre, quién es su nombre y todas esas cosas, ¿sabéis? Entonces pues queremos ver cómo funciona porque a lo mejor es peligroso.
Here we
Y está
are.
muy consciente.
This is the place.
This cliff is pretty high. What are we going to do here? Are we going to climb to the very top and then throw this inscription down the cliff?
Tenemos que montarlo, no romperlo. Si no, él sabrá qué hacer.
I'm going to use phlogiston to make an engraving circle on the cliff wall. That will allow me to investigate the internals of the central inscription. Now let me see if this thing can even turn on. I was still an apprentice the last time I used it. Before we attempt to engrave the inside pattern of an ancient name with phlogiston, we always use this to draw out the engraving diagram on a cliff or open ground. Only after we've confirmed that phlogiston can flow properly through the internal engravings can we start formally working on the small internal engravings of the ancient name. If we want to dismantle the central inscription in a non-destructive manner, we'll have to use this thing. I really don't want to engrave such a large diagram with my bare hands.
Oh, so you'll be able to see what it looks like on the inside without ruining Tlasoli's inscription?
For the most part. If it were just an ordinary unfinished ancient name piece, I'd just take it apart and pour phlogiston into the internal engravings to see everything. But since it's a central inscription, it would be better not to destroy the blessing that Auntie has prepared for Nechka.
So, Xilonen, does this central inscription fall under the 20% you understand about ancient names? Or the other 80% you don't understand?
Hay un 80% de la probabilidad de que sea el 20.
Oh, don't worry. As I said, Auntie and I share an understanding of the most important principle, which is names are intrinsically valuable. Only by having names can things be sorted and categorized. They allow the world to become more orderly and identifiable. For example, when I order ore, I would usually say I need volcanic crystals of about 35% purity and no more than 3% of impurities. Without specific names, I would only be able to go to the ore merchant and say, I want this and this. No, this isn't it. That one. No, not that one either. Yeah, you see what I mean? Names are a crucial part of how we standardize our workflow. Without names, the work would be impossible.
Tiene sentido.
Yes, because forging ancient names is first and foremost a technical job. There's no debating that. As for the question of why it's important, as long as it does not affect your ability to perform your work, you'll gradually understand it as you put the process into practice.
La eficiencia es lo primero. Es un enfoque muy eficiente.
After all, creating an ancient name is quite the complicated process. Well, let me break it down even further. We're not in the tribe right now anyway. Essentially, by forging ancient names, I'm assigning nicknames to the heroes in Natlan's history. Giving someone a name is a subjective expression. You just need to express your hopes and wishes for them. But giving someone a nickname is a much more objective expression. To come up with a fitting and accurate nickname requires much thought and observation. If ancient names or nicknames aren't descriptive enough, no one will remember them anyway.
Por si acaso, que luego me quedo sin miniaturas.
So the best I can do is gather all the information I could and try to come up with the most fitting nicknames possible. Even a minor mistake in the process could cause people to misunderstand the nickname. For a name engraver such as myself, such mistakes would be considered a major blunder.
Ya soy el Paimon, a observar y a meditar.
Paimon isn't trying to come up with a nickname for Xilonen. Besides, all of Paimon's nicknames have been very descriptive. Everyone can remember them.
Es verdad, porque Paimon le pone motes a todas las personas que le caen mal.
Phew. Now I'm curious. Why don't you, come up with one for me?
Vaya.
Are you serious?
Claro que suele poner motes en plan bardo de pacotilla, el torerito o algo así
Of
también.
course. This is also my line of work, you know. Go ahead.
Madre mía.
A nickname? Xilonen. Well, she uses phlogiston to forge weapons and make names for others.
Te has puesto a sudar, Paimon. Tienes que elegir uno bueno, ¿eh?
Smith?
Smith.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And quite fitting, too. I'll remember
Forja
it.
Fuegos es como se llama realmente la Xilonen. O sea, Xilonen en el banner pone Xilonen, la Forja Fuegos o algo
But,
así.
you should keep observing my work, Paimon. Maybe you'll come up with an even better nickname. Right, okay. Time to make like a smith and start smithing. Watch closely.
Es que, claro, en inglés creo que Smith es como eso, Forja Fuegos, ¿sabéis? Y claro, en español no queda igual, ¿sabéis? Porque Smith pues, es más corto. Vale, tengo que escalar hasta allí. ¿Qué? Pero claro, tengo que romperlos. O no hace falta que los rompa.
Adjust the inclination
vale,
by
solo tengo
2
que unirlo.
degrees. Stop. The error margin is
Lo que me gusta de Xilonen es que si le das al espacio te mueves muy
but
rápido,
I'll
¿sabes?
extend the
Escalando.
inscription link a
Y
little
eso mola un
more just
montón.
to be.
La verdad es que Xilonen explorando es la hostia, tío.
I'll leave some space here. When the linked
Explorar con Xilonen
engravings
es
are
maravilloso,
activated,
tío.
the
De verdad.
inscriptions
Y
here
además que una de las
will
cosas que más
overlap with
odio
each
es
other.
escalar. Con Xilonen es súper fácil,
There.
¿sabéis?
That should complete the flow.
Yo lo que más odio es escalar. Y Xilonen lo hace súper rápido. Aunque bueno, también te digo que no dura mucho. O sea, no le da para muchos impulsos.
Amazing, Xilonen! You were running all over that cliff as if it was flat ground!
¿Es el poder de los fastajos del eco?
Oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with my tribe. It's just the phlogiston adhesive I have on my shoes.
Ostras.
But after all that running around, I'll have to infuse them with more phlogiston again. Huh. I should prepare a spare supply of phlogiston to bring with me next time.
No me digas que llevas todo tu equipo contigo en todo momento.
More or less, yeah. I usually have at least the key equipment on hand. I can show them to you when we next find the time, but let's get to work first. Let me see. Start with anchor 1 and activate it with density 3 phlogiston.
La señal no significa nada, ¿no? Por lo que veo. Vale, pues mira, aquí tengo mejor miniatura.
Whoa! A super huge
Ostras.
diagram just appeared!
La ha pintado y todo.
Flasoli's central inscription is even floating!
¿Así es como se forja un nombre antiguo? Ostras. Tras un tiempo, los estallidos de flagelos cesan y el cristal central regresa a las manos de Xilonen.
So are you done checking the inscription, Xilonen? How does it look?
I didn't find any anomalies in the phlogiston engraving. All the adjustments are indeed based on ancient name engraving techniques.
Entonces, todo está dentro de lo normal.
That means we can help Flasoli and Machka now, right?
Well, probably, but I have good news and bad news. Oh, but I'm also just going to go ahead and share both, so it's not like you'll have a choice in the matter.
Paimon will cover her ears after the good news.
Well, even if you cover your ears, the issue will still continue to exist. But, you know, before we get to that, I want to ask the traveler a question. What are your thoughts on absorbing memories?
Hombre, si es necesario pasar a Netza y no hacer nada mal, hay algo que no está bien. Claro, es que el problema es... ¿Le está haciendo daño a los demás? O sea, ¿los demás van a olvidar a Netza? Hay algo que no está bien.
I knew you felt the same way, and that'll save me some initial explanation. I've never been very good at that anyway.
Claro, a lo mejor le está haciendo daño a los demás.
It's hard to control the absorption of memories. Technically speaking, this type of inscription has the power to do far more than absorb memories related to a single person. By herself, Auntie can't handle that level and scope of work, but if she has accomplices, it is completely possible for her to use this inscription to accomplish far bigger things.
Accomplices? You make it sound like she's committing a crime!
Well, here's the good news. Yes, this blaze gem inscription would be the perfect tool to commit crimes, but we haven't found any accomplices or signs that she intends to put it to such uses. From a purely objective standpoint, We can consider that possibility as yet to be confirmed for now. The bad news is, there's still an underlying problem with this blaze gem inscription that cannot be ignored. I believe I've mentioned this before. Ancient names operate with the help of the Wyab, granting them the power to read information kept in the ley lines. In this process, the Wyab actually function like relays, helping the ancient name bearer sense the information from within the ley lines. If you remove the Wyab from the process and don't use any tools, then finding a specific story is akin to trying to scoop up a specific grain of sand from a rushing river.
Antes incluso de poder sacar el grano de arena, esa persona se ahogaría.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who attempts to do so will likely lose most of their cognitive function or become a babbling madman who talks to themselves all day long. Now, let's consider the memories that Auntie has gathered as the ley line, and Nechka as the only ancient name bearer of this ley line. There's no way Auntie would let Nechka plunge into the river of memories without any tools. She'd only be overwhelmed by the surge of memories. And considering that Nechka has forgotten all of her past, she'll be unable to work on her own to accurately find the correct past. Only Aunt Tlisoli can help her filter the correct memories of her past. So, if my hypothesis is correct, Auntie is actually planning on turning herself into Nechka's Wyab to help her extract the corresponding memories in the different situations she may face.
Convertirse en una guayo para Necha y ayudarla a extraer los recuerdos. Vale.
In an ideal world, this would be perfectly fine, as long as every extracted memory is correct. Nechka would essentially be getting her past back. And I also believe that there won't be any mistakes in everything that Auntie remembers about Nechka. But Auntie is not a Wyab. Her body won't be able to handle the load for long.
En cualquier momento podría... Ese es el problema que no podemos ignorar.
But how can we solve this problem? No matter how we try, Tlisoli will...
Ella ya ha tomado su decisión. Está preparada para hacer lo que sea.
Names are blessings for the future from people standing in the past. I've also made up my mind. Come on, let's go see Auntie.
Me da a mí que esto va a acabar mal. Llevamos ya casi 13 minutos. Aquí sí que lo voy a dejar porque creo que se va a alargar mucho ahora cuando nos reunamos con la tía Soli. Entonces lo voy a dejar. Uy, que me caigo, cuidado. Pensaba que esto era como una... Pensaba que esto era esto, ¿sabéis? En plan, que era como un mini pasillito. Pero bueno, espero que os haya gustado, que hayáis todo. Mañana continuaremos con más y vamos a tener que detenerla porque... Claro, o sea... Si lo hace, como que va a morir, o sea, se va a suicidar porque su cuerpo no está preparado para eso. O sea, la niña recordará sus recuerdos, pero la madre no aguantará. Entonces, bueno, espero que os haya gustado, que lo hice todo y gracias por ver. Adiós.